What is dopamine? The real neurobiology behind motivation, desire, and discipline. I'm Dhruva, MD, a practicing board-certified family doctor and a former dopamine addict. People think that dopamine is pleasure. That's not entirely true. Dopamine is anticipation, activation, and pursuit. It's the neurochemical that makes you want something, not the chemical that makes you enjoy it. The mistake a lot of the time people make is thinking dopamine is about happiness. It's actually about movement towards something, even a thought. Let's take an example. Let's say there's somebody, a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor that you have some sort of a problem with. What you want is you want movement towards this resolution. Let's say they send you a text message without an exclamation point at 10:02 a.m. We'll make it very specific. Now you want a quick dopamine hit. You're moving towards something. I want to feel better about this text message. I hope that there is an exclamation point. I hope that there is an emoji. And when that does not happen, or you see them in person and there is an interaction where they used to maybe say your name, ask about you, or smile with their eyes, now all of a sudden they're not. And now you want to look for dopamine in other ways, eating bad, drinking, and to quiet the amygdala and the emotional brain and that sympathetic nervous system that says, oh my God, something happened. Well, I need to complain, blame, talk bad to feel better. Where is dopamine produced? Three main dopamine producing regions are the ventral tegmental area, or the VTA. This is the engine of motivation. It sends dopamine to decision-making and emotional centers. Number two is the substantia nigra. This controls motor function. This is the region affected in Parkinson's disease, as an example, with dopamine deficiency, and it leads to tremors and stiffness. And then the hypothalamus, which the dopamine here regulates hormones, especially prolactin. The dopamine pathways are the highways of motivation and reward. Number one, mesolimbic pathway, the wanting system. I want to feel better if this person texts me back like this or says hi to me. That's the ventral tegmental area going to the nucleus accumbens, which is the reward center in the brain. This governs reward prediction, motivation, and reinforcement. I hope that I get this exclamation point or a smiley face in my text message. I'll feel better. This is where addiction forms. Well, if I don't, I'll just eat some sugar tonight. It's okay. I'll just have a drink. It's fine. I'll just call that person and complain about him. This is where anticipation comes desire. I hope that I get a message like this. I hope that my friend says this about me. I hope that my coworker says hi to me in the way that they did before. Now you can see here how there are very small interactions that seem very trivial or not very complicated. However, you can see how when you want a reward really quickly, that what you'll do is you'll do things that are not within your core values, increase inflammation at the end of the artery wall that could lead to a heart attack or stroke if you eat bad, drink, complain, or be stressed out with increased cortisol while anticipating some type of reward that may not ever come. Number two, the mesocortical pathway. The ventral tegmental area goes to the prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of the brain. No, I should not do this. Governs focus, discipline, and decision-making. Low dopamine here leads to procrastination, indecision, and low motivation. If you were to activate this as an example, look, this person's not gonna message me back. When I see them in person, it's not gonna be the same. That's okay. Let me just bless the situation, but not with resentment. This leads to low procrastination in various parts of your life. You're not gonna waste time looking for something in particular, which leads to better decision-making. Number three, the nigrostriatal pathway, which is the substantia nigra to the striatum, which governs movement. Number four, the tuberoinfundular pathway, which is from the hypothalamus to the pituitary. Dopamine suppresses prolactin, and this is why, for example, after an orgasm, dopamine drops and prolactin rises, which leads to loss of drive. And from the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland, also, if you know about cortisol, those signals hit the adrenal cortex, cortisol is increased. And the way I think about it is that when cortisol is increased, you want to quiet that down with dopamine. So you're stressed out, you need something to help you feel better. That person didn't text back, they didn't say what I wanted to hear. This is what I need right now to feel better. Dopamine does spike when your reality is better than expected. For example, like I'm living in this place. I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm clear, I have my pets, I'm in a neurospiritual sovereign frequency where the cortisol is reduced and the dopamine is indefinitely delayed. Meaning, if I want something, like I'll talk about this in another video. If I want something, let's say I want to eat bread. Let's say I want to eat, like, I don't know, peanuts. I like it, right? It's something that I want to do. Let's say I want to go online and look at my YouTube studio. I want to do this. Let me delay it by 1 second at a time. And if I keep on delaying it enough, then I'll have this delayed dopamine delay, which is what I believe is one of the only ways out of a dopamine addiction. I want this quickly. Let me just delay it every single time when nobody's watching you. And then you develop that serotonin bond, which is the mood stabilizer with yourself. Oh, I did this. And that's where you don't need anybody to regulate. I don't like to use the word regulate, to consecrate, surrender to dopamine. You don't need me. You don't need another YouTube video. You don't need a friend, a family member, sugar, cookies, cakes, creams, pies, complaining and blaming. You can do this by yourself by delaying it over and over again. And if you were to do this at least for 90 minutes, 1 to 90 seconds, maybe if you can double or triple that, you'd probably get to a good place in a year and a half. You're like, well, that's a long time. Well, this is just anecdotal. It's my personal data, right? Whenever I start something I don't want to, and I know it'll forward my life, it'll probably take me a year and a half of daily work with no time off. For example, if you take like Christmas off, or like a holiday, or like a weekend, it's like you might as well start over again. Dopamine drops when reality is worse than expected. For example, you expect 10 likes, only get 4. You expect 10 likes and you get 100. The dopamine spikes. But if you get 10 likes, or you expect 100 likes and you get 10, the dopamine drops. You expect a text and you don't get one that you desire, the dopamine drops. You expect a compliment and you don't get that, dopamine drops. You get a compliment, dopamine spikes. Instead of that, what you want to do is you want to say, look, whatever they say is not my business. And at least if you say that 1 second at a time, like imagine if you keep on doing that, you'll stack the percentages on. Like I said, there are no days off. When it does come to dopamine, is you could see some of my before and after picture. When I was younger, I was traumatized by my dad, physically and mentally abused. I was in and out of child protective services, adult protective services. I was in juvenile detention when I was younger. I barely made it into residency. Residency was tough. And then after that, I self-diagnosed myself with self-hate. I've been in monastic solitude for about 10 years now. I've been single on purpose for 8 years. But really out of that, for maybe about 8 months, I've been like 100% single when I was, meaning I don't have any external validation of any kind. I'm not dependent on anybody. All of these resentments that I had towards myself, my dad, people that made fun of me, people that took advantage of me, people that I took advantage of, that I made fun of, I have written all of these things down to a point where now I have a steady state of serotonin. That means it's mood stabilizing. I delay the dopamine on everything, meaning at one point, because of these resentments and self-hate, I was addicted to alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, and I had gambling debt up to $300,000. I was going to lose my job, had a cocaine-induced manic episode, and because all I did was wanted quick dopamine, complaining, blaming, talking bad, drinking, alcohol, gambling, eating bad. That's all I did most of my life until I almost died. And if it wasn't for that rock bottom, I wouldn't be here. The only way I can stay away from this baseline of self-hate, self-deprecation, self-disrespect is to delay everything that I want. Let's take an example. I want a speaking engagement. I'm going to donate money. It may not come for a year. I want to quit I don't know, I've quit a lot of things: alcohol, drugs, cocaine, gambling, dating, getting external validation. Whenever I get a like, I'm like, it'll forward the mission. There's a part of me that still wants it. There's a part of me that still wants a nice comment. When I do get it, I'm like, I'm going to be able to forward the mission with this. And what that's done is that's created this environment where my emotions are not positive or negative. I just accept them, or even advanced to that is surrender. And I know the more I keep on doing it, the better it gets. The process could take up to a year and a half. And I'm aware of that. That's where it becomes exciting, because when you get there, you'll be stabilized. And when you can create this dopamine baseline by not depending on anybody emotionally, you're going to experience so much benefit in your life. There's a lot that we covered in this video. It can be complicating. You can go back to it and look at it. I'm going to try my best to put images in there so you can see, but just always remember that if it's something that you like, just do your best to delay it. That's the easiest way to not anticipate a reward. Somebody says something happens, I need this right now. Instead of that, something happened, somebody said something, I don't like it, that's okay, let me delay everything that I want. If you found value in the video, like it, comment, share it with somebody that needs to hear the message, and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be dopamine devotion, how to train your brain to love the process and not the reward. And this is going to be a 3-part series. Namaste.